So our next door neighbor decided that he liked our outbuildings and, the compound and everything that we've created in our very large backyard so much that he was going to make some outbuildings of his own, which is a great idea. Highly recommend it. Encourage. 10 out of 10. But in order to do that, he needs to get some trees out of the way. And so he came over and was talking to us about trees and cutting them and all the things. And we're like, yeah, totally, whatever. Bring the tree guy out, and if it's our tree, we'll take care of the cost for that, all the things, you get it. And instead of bringing a tree guy out, he brought his landscaping guy out. And don't get me wrong, his landscaping guy is amazing. I use him as well. But a tree guy, he is not. And so right now, just over there are guys on rickety ladders and small little cutting tools trying to get up to the top of a tree to start just taking branches off bit by bit. But here's the thing, these are giant trees. And so even the branches are giant. And so it's scary. And you may hear a lot of noise, really. And I actually may have to leave in the middle of all of this and go take care of a downed fence or something, or a branch through the pontoon, which I'm very glad I'm not in right now, in which case no video goes up today and you don't even know that this happened. So there's that. Point is, might be loud, and I am definitely distracted, but I will try to undistract myself while you are watching the intro, and then I will tell you what we are doing today. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 339 of 365 days of soap, and today we're doing the second take on the pencil soaps that I started yesterday, which are very cool soaps, and they still look really, really fun, but just because of the amount of soap I ultimately ended up having to carve off of the top, I decided that for the next round, I would just build the soap kinda sorta, and not worry about the scraping at the top to get the peak, and then just do the cuts. So I'm going to lose less soap off of the soap itself in the process. This is my thinking. So let's get to the video and we can see whether or not I did a good job. Where we always do in the video. Okay, round 2 with the pencil soaps, and we are going to, build a better pencil soap today, really. It's starting out with the exact same premise as before, and that premise is called, we have a mold that fits about 56 ounces of soap batter into it, right? So that's the oils, plus the water, plus the lye, all equaling 56 ounces. Well, and the scent and everything too. You get it. Anyway, I take that, I cut it in half, and for people who haven't done that before, go ahead and run it through Soap Calc, just to make sure you have the right lye amounts. Otherwise, you can just cut it in half and not send your beaker flying. And to answer the question that I'm sure you're wondering, Mrs. Soap and Clay, did you trip on that beaker later? Yes, I did. That happened. Anyway, half of the batch gets mixed up right away, while the other lye is cooling in a different carafe. And I'm also going to mix it to at least a medium, well, almost medium trays, and put it on a heat pad so it firms up as quickly as possible, so I can take a sculpting tool to it to get, you know, the lines between the colored portion and the pencil portion of a colored pencil. That. And so that is what I'm doing. And then I will go ahead and do that part. But yesterday we saw that there was no real good reason for me to sculpt the top of these things. A, because my sculpting tool was made out of cardboard that I wrapped in electric tape, because one of the sudsers commented at some point about how electrical tape sticks to anything. And I thought, well, let's try that. That sounds like an amazing idea. And so I did that. I wrapped it to like really make the cardboard more sturdy for the triangular part. And it didn't work because the soap is heavy. And so we're not going to do that part this time. We're just going to do this part because that works out pretty well. And actually I dig those lines. So I'm not mad at the scent blend that I ended up creating for all of these soaps, because hey, bonus, it makes everything super thick, super fast. And that's good. Normally it's not good because I like doing swirls, but for this particular version, it totally works. Now for this particular soap, because it's yellow and I had already decided to color the pencil portion of all of these soaps a version of yellow. I mean, I used, let's see, Sister Golden Hair Surprise for the pencil part in all the other soaps, but that's very close to yellow, and I'm making the yellow colored pencil today. So I decided for this one to put titanium dioxide in addition to the kaolin clay, just directly into the heated oils, and then the lye goes in with that, and then we mixy mix, right? And same issue with this as you saw in yesterday's. It's a thick soap, but it wasn't quite emulsified. False trace, because cool oils, cool lye solution. All the things. One of the actual downsides, I know in the Back to Basics video, I talked about the pores in one of the Back to Basics videos in the playlist. I talked about the pores that you should get familiar with and use a lot in your soapy journey, because you're going to use those a lot in your soapy journey, was like a solid color bar or a 2-color like this. But in actuality, doing a single color bar can be actually kind of disastrous for new soap makers because of false trace, because you are not continuing to sort of mix it up with, you know, your whisk or your spatula or your stick blender to incorporate obviously the oils and the lye solution, but then the colors and then the scent. Every time that you're taking some sort of, you know, tool to it, you have that mechanical force that is continuing to agitate the fatty acids and the sodium hydroxide and, you know, makes saponification a thing. When you're doing a single color soap or even a 2-color soap, you are running the risk of not hitting emulsion because, you know, cooler oils and things get thick kind of fast, and you're just going to assume, oh yeah, we're at trace. And then you go to cut it and things look wonky and you have weird, you know, white spots on your soap and seepage and all kinds of things because you didn't hit emulsion and the soap really needed a little bit more mixing. So that is something to keep in mind when you are just doing a single color. But in general, once you've sort of figured that out and you're not afraid to continue mixing to get past that false trace stage, doing a bar like this with just one color and putting all of the colors and the scent and your additives, so your clays or whatever, just directly into your oils, it's a delightful experience. It really is. It's a lot of fun. And what is also weirdly fun in this pour specifically is how much my hands are all up in this pour. And a sudser actually commented in the Discord, I think it was the same sudser that I was talking about earlier, actually, now that I think about it, about how gloves are very important because sometimes you need to literally just get your hands in to the soap to press it down into the mold. And I thought that was interesting, given I just did that. But let's go to the cut and see what these ones look like. Okay, and on to the cut. And this guy is actually shiny because I froze the loaf to get it out of the molds faster. Because I made a whole bunch of these. So, and I only have like 12 of these tall and skinny molds. So I needed to get them out as quickly as possible. And it was a bit of a Herculean effort, actually, to get the cutter through the soaps because they were still mostly frozen when I cut them. But these soaps actually look basically exactly like yesterday's soaps, right? The soaps that I was trying to create the triangle top on, wasting my time. Because ultimately I still had to, with yesterday's soap, take a dough cutter to it and create the peak on my own. Like, you know, cutting it in. So, doing it this way, much faster. I approve. This is my endorsement of doing it this way. Again, like I was talking about yesterday though, with For You by Shells and having the cool triangular loaf pans, I was actually thinking about how that could work. And that could work by pouring the first part of this, really, into the triangle pan and letting that set up for, I don't know, 8, 9 hours, whatever, a day, doesn't really matter. And then taking it out and pouring a fresh batch of soap for the bottom part, so in this case the yellow, and then just like pushing it into it, it would work. You guys saw my Harry Potter inspired soap line in year 1, right? I made those soaps for, 5, 6, 7 years, really, before I discontinued the line. And it was the same concept. You pour one soap, you cut it in half, and then you pour fresh soap on top of it, and it all adheres. It all stays together. So that totally would have worked. But this is definitely the easier way, for sure, even though I'm not good at cutting things into triangles. I believe that we've had a couple videos wherein I was having an impossible time doing so. At least 5 videos, I would say, with my inability to geometry, really. But, I did a decent job there. That's not bad, for sure. And as I was saying yesterday, all of these cutoffs, they are not just wasted. They're not being thrown away. I am taking all of these and will put them into a piece of plastic, like a piece of saran wrap, and then wrap it all up. And then I will knead it a whole bunch. The knead, K-N-E-A-D. Yeah. Some people call that conditioning. I've heard soap makers call that conditioning your soap dough. And that's fun. That sounds super official. I just call it kneading. Gonna mix it all up into a ball. So it's all one big ball. You get it. And then keep it wrapped up in the plastic. And when I'm ready to use it, I will do that thing and take it out and color it whatever color I want and make things out of soap dough. Look at that. I didn't need a special recipe for soap dough, because you don't need a special recipe for soap dough, just in general. This recipe here is my lots of lather blend, my big bubble blend, really. And so there's a lot of solid oils and butters in this. And it's not only a great bubble, but also it makes really good soap dough. And you're probably going to see that. Like what I do with all of that soap dough, probably in the next 30 days or so. I only have like a month left of year 2. Did it take me 3 months longer to finish a year than it should have? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Am I okay with that? Also, yes, I am. Because posting every single day is actually a lot. And considering YouTube is not my focus, like I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a business owner. Look, 4 ounces. That's a decent sized bar of soap right there. So those are big bars. Very hefty. Not mad at that. But anyway, yeah, posting a lot of content, it became a thing. And so I'm not sad about the fact that it took 3 months longer, but it did. And I assume that I'm going to show you in the final month which might take, you know, another 3 months to finish. Who knows? We'll see what I do with this soap dough. I'm definitely showing you this within the next week or two, for sure. But for now, there's the yellow colored pencils, and all of the pencils are done now, and they're super pretty. And that is day 339. And yeah, you know, all things considered, from the first soap to the other versions that we made with not cutting them down like this, yeah, these ones are totally better and way easier to do, for sure, and super cute. And I should probably still have one of those triangular mold pan things that For You by Shells bought and is using for all of her awesome triangle soaps, but I don't have one of those guys. So I may do with what I do have, and that's a cute bar of soap. I'm not mad at that. And I'm super excited to give these to all the teachers for, you know, Teacher Appreciation Week, along with some other fun goodies that I'm making, and I will probably show you at least one or so of those, too, also as well. But yeah, a lot of fun. I really dug these, and I think, all things considered, super cute idea when you are thinking about fall lines, obviously, teacher gifts for sure, and also just for the artists and stuff in your life. I think it totally works. And it was a great way to get rid of a whole bunch of scents that I didn't have enough of to make anything real, you know, that I had to put into a line. And so just blend them all together like a Frankenstein, and you end up with the rainbow of all the soapy things. There is the rainbow. I've got all the colors. It's very cool. Yeah, for sure. Had a lot of fun with this one. If you are interested in these soaps, I will have some available on the website after the teachers get their first crack at them. And I have boxed up all the cool gift sets. So they will be available at soapandclay.com at some point. That point is not today, because unless you are a teacher at my children's school, you're not getting first access to these. Because the teachers, we love them. Yes, I am really glad that you guys joined me for today. Always a lot of fun playing with new themes and trying to figure out how to make something work. And I'm glad you guys were around for this ride, for sure. Special big thank you to my sudsers, the Discord sudsers, the membership sudsers, the sudsers that have clicked the subscribe button and you were here. Thank you. You were amazing. I appreciate you all of the time. Today too. Yeah, I'm out of here for today, but I will see all of you again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.